Lewis Hamilton's disqualification from the 2025 Chinese Grand Prix has ignited a firestorm of discussions within Formula One. What initially appeared to be a routine technical error, a penalty for excessive plank wear, has since become a critical point of analysis, suggesting something much deeper is going wrong at Ferrari. This penalty, which cost Hamilton a solid sixth-place finish, is now a symbol of the larger struggles within the team, a team that seems to be grappling with setup, failures, missing data, and a car that might be operating on the edge. The question now arises, was this simply a case of bad luck, or are there deeper structural issues within Ferrari that are jeopardizing their chances this season? Let's break down what really happened during the Chinese Grand Prix, how pre-season testing could have prevented this disaster, and what it all means for Hamilton's future with Ferrari. This isn't just about a disqualification, it's about the fundamentals of F1 car design, the precision required in testing, and the consequences of missing key data early in the season. The disqualification and its aftermath. Fresh off his first win for Ferrari in the sprint race, Hamilton was poised to bring home another strong result in China. After a relatively clean performance, he finished sixth, looking set for a solid points haul. But things took a turn after post-race scrutineering revealed that Hamilton's SF25 had excessive wear on the skid blocks, which led to his disqualification. For Hamilton, this wasn't the first time he'd been penalized for plank wear, as it was a similar issue at the 2023 United States Grand Prix. It's becoming a worrying pattern for Ferrari, and it raises the question, why is this problem recurring? To make matters worse, Charles Leclerc, Hamilton's teammate, was also disqualified for an underweight car. As a result, Ferrari left Shanghai with 0 points and a lot of questions to answer. This wasn't just a bad day at the office for Ferrari. It was a disaster. The team's performance, or lack thereof, is now under intense scrutiny. But as Sky Sports F1 reporter Ted Kravitz revealed, the problem might go much deeper than a one-off technical error. The root cause? Pre-season. Testing and missed data. According to Kravitz, the story might go all the way back to pre-season testing in Bahrain. Hamilton was scheduled to run a full race simulation during the final day of testing, but a technical issue, likely related to hydraulics, cut the session short. That single missed session, according to Kravitz, could have had massive consequences. Without that data, Ferrari was flying blind when it came to understanding how the car would behave during a full race stint on a dry track. This oversight set the stage for what would become a disastrous race weekend in China. The issue here is more than just missing a single race simulation. It's about how crucial that data is to the car's setup for the season. In Formula One, cars operate within microscopic tolerances. Even small changes in ride height, weight distribution, and aerodynamics can have massive effects on car performance. Missing one critical run in testing means Ferrari was essentially guessing how the car would perform in real race conditions. When the team arrived in China, they faced a situation where they were running their car in full race conditions for the first time that year. With no prior data from a dry, full race simulation, Ferrari was left to improvise. The result was catastrophic. Hamilton's disqualification due to plank wear was the inevitable consequence of this incomplete testing program. Ferrari's failure to properly simulate the car's performance early in the season left them unprepared for one of the most critical races of the year. Ferrari's struggles with setup and ride height. Ferrari's struggles with the car's setup extend beyond China. Back in Australia, Ferrari engineers noticed that the SF25 was running dangerously low to the ground after Charles Leclerc topped FP2. Fearing another skid block penalty, the team raised the ride height for the rest of the weekend. While this move was made to avoid another plank wear violation, it came at the cost of the car's performance. The result was that both Hamilton and Leclerc qualified in P7 and P8, finishing in P9 and P10 on race day. Ferrari was caught between two extremes: too low and they risk disqualification, too high and they lose performance. It's a delicate balance that Ferrari hasn't been able to strike so far this season. This setup dilemma illustrates a much larger problem for Ferrari. The team is struggling to find the right balance between performance and legality. In Formula One, Even a millimeter of change can make a significant difference in a car's handling and performance. With only 3 days of pre-season testing split between two drivers, a single technical fault like Hamilton's in Bahrain can leave a team's understanding of the car completely flawed for the first few races of the season. The larger issue with Formula One testing. The crux of the issue here is not just Ferrari's inability to get the setup right, but the broader problem with Formula One testing in general. The current pre-season testing schedule simply isn't enough for modern Formula One cars. These cars are incredibly complex, with sophisticated aerodynamics, advanced electronics, and extremely tight tolerances that require precise adjustments. Missing one critical testing session, or even part of one session, can lead to a setup that's completely off for the first few races. Ferrari's current struggles with the SF25 are a direct result of this testing limitation. Formula One cars today are much more than just high-speed machines. They are complex, multifaceted systems that require precise engineering and setup. A single missed session of testing can cause a team to miss out on crucial data that could influence how the car behaves under race conditions. And that's exactly what Ferrari is now dealing with. A car that is operating on a knife's edge, with little room for error. The consequences: Ferrari's fall in the Constructors' Championship. The double disqualification in China was a huge blow for Ferrari, both in terms of points and morale. The team now sits in 5th place in the Constructors' Championship, tied on points with Williams, and a staggering 61 points behind leaders McLaren. For a team that entered the season with title aspirations, this is a serious setback. Ferrari had the potential to challenge for the championship, but their failure to execute even the basic aspects of car setup has left them trailing behind their rivals.